Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Pink and this is your no bullshit guide to the best build in Borderlands 3 for FLAK. On screen now we'll have the skill tree. Spend the points exactly like you see here. You don't need to change the points at all if you're killing bosses or just mobbing, doing things like Slaughter Shaft. Links for all these will be in the description down below. These are the items you're going to use when you go mobbing, things like Slaughter Shaft, just killing general baddies. Here are the items you're going to use when you're killing Grave Ward, killing bosses. How you're going to do a lot of damage to this build is you're just going to throw out your action skill. You're going to use the Rakks. They're on a really low cooldown, so you can always keep your 100% weapon damage anointment up and keep your 50% increased weapon damage capstone up at all times. Then you're going to shoot bad guys and throw grenades and you can't see them. Just like that, you're a god at Borderlands 3. If this helps you, leave a like, leave a comment. I'd really appreciate it. Helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to see the undisputed best builds and more Chad builds like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Sit back, relax, and watch me get into the nitty gritty of why this build excels, where all the damage comes from, so that you can carry your friends when Mayhem 4 comes out and the new raid boss comes out. Then stay till after the intro. And if you just want to play this build but you don't have the time to farm it like I did, it takes me around 200 hours to farm all the items for this build. I sell my save files. All you have to do is join my channel. It's right next to the subscribe button. If you're on mobile, the link will be in the description down below. If you're going to watch the rest of this video, sit back, relax, crack yourself open a cold one, and let's watch the intro. Quick thank you to the sponsor of this video, Easy NPC, for any quick, easy items, fast and safe. Make sure to check them out, and make sure to use my coupon code TICKLE for 5% off. Alright, hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your favorite low-functioning YouTuber, Tickle Me Pink. Got another video from my favorite high-functioning audience. Let's hop into this game. Let's spend some points. We're going to get in the nitty-gritty of how I built this build. That's weird to say. And yeah, if you guys enjoy this video, make sure to smash that dislike button and tell me to kill myself. And without further ado, let's spend some points. So I'm going to respec really quickly here and show you guys how I like to spend my points with this like Rakk Attack. I don't even know what I'm going to call this build yet. It's insane. We might as well just call it Raid Boss FLAK, like FLAK the Invincible. But let's hop into it. So the main tree we're going to be focusing on is the green tree. We're not actually going to get the majority of our damage from this tree, but we need to get the capstone, the power inside. So the reason we're going for that is this is going to be a Rakk Attack focused build. Rakk Attack in my opinion sucks, but the cooldown on it is super low, and with that you can take advantage of weapons with on action skill end. Weapon damage is increased by 100% for a short time, or another good one is crit on FLAK, but the hands down best one will be on action skill end. Weapon damage is increased for 100% for a short time. So let's spend our points. Let's get down to that capstone, and I like to put 5 points into Furious Attack. Now the way Furious Attack works, it's a hunter skill, so keep in mind whenever you hear hunter kill skill, think about our class mod. Whenever we shoot, it can proc it, but this is just a hunter skill. They're kind of named awkwardly, so I'll try and point that out for you guys. But the way this works is after shooting an enemy, FLAK gains a stack of Furious Attack. Now what Furious Attack does is for each stack of Furious Attack, FLAK's handling and gun damage are going to be increased, and stacks decay after a few seconds. So with 5 points, we're going to be getting 2% gun damage per stack, 5% handling per stack, and we can get 10 stacks. That's 20% gun damage. That's why we like to use a high fire rate weapon like the Lucian's Call, like the Lyuda, to stack this really fast. Also, we can stack it off of using the sellout on ourselves and applying a debuff to us, so keep that in mind. Now, after this, I like to go ahead and put 5 points into Overclocked. Now, the way Overclocked works is FLAK's going to gain increased fire rate, and FLAK gains even more fire rate after reloading. There just isn't really any other DPS talents to put our points in right here. All of these are going to be based on getting health, besides Eager to Impress, and it's not that strong. We'll come back to that later, but the rest of these are just going to be health regeneration, attack command, things like that. They're not very good in my opinion. You can put 1 point into Lick the Wounds if you're dying a lot, but you know me, I like to go full Chad, so we're going to go all into the Chad, and we put 3 points into Turn Tail and Run. So the way Turn Tail and Run works is while you're moving, you're going to regenerate health and gain damage reduction. So while you're moving, you're going to be getting 1% of your max health a second, and you're going to be getting 17.5% damage reduction while moving. Now while you're standing still, you're going to gain gun damage and fire rate. So you'll be 25% gun damage while holding still and 12% fire rate. So keep that in mind. It's kind of weird to play. It's kind of the opposite of Zane, where you need to move to get your gun damage. You need to hold still to get your gun damage and fire rate. But it works well because you're freezing people. That's why I chose to run Cryo on this build. Well, that's not the only reason, but this is one of the reasons. is you freeze people and you can just hold still and beam them in the head. Another reason was going to be getting a lot of crit damage in this build. Now I forgot to mention, lick the wounds. The way it works is your pet will come revive you, but if you're in a really high difficulty like Mayhem 4 that's coming out soon, or even Mayhem 3, your pet dies quite a bit, so you're going to be reviving him more than he's reviving you. So I would just go ahead and put 2 points into Eager to Impress just to get farther down the tree. And the way this works is anytime Flak kills someone or his pet kills someone, you're going to be getting reduced action skill cooldown, and it's by a flat amount. When you kill someone, it's by half a second, and when your pet kills someone, it's by a full second. And that's with 2 points in it. After that, we like to put 3 points into the Fast and the Furious. Now, while this works is while above half health, Flak's gun damage and movement speed are increased. You're seeing we're getting a lot of movement speed here, a lot of gun damage relating to our health, as you'll see with the power inside. But we still need to spend some more points to get farther down this tree. So I like to go ahead and put 5 points in Hidden Machine. And the way this works is while there's no enemy targeting Flak, or when an enemy has no target or is attacking a different target, Flak deals increased damage against them. So this isn't very often, but sometimes enemies do go for your pet. So you're just getting an extra 30% damage here sometimes. Now, Rage and Recover isn't very good. It's just another, health regeneration skill. So we're going to go back and put 2 points in Eager to Impress, just so we're getting our racks back more often. And that way we're proccing our on-action skill and weapon damage more often. This gets us the capstone, the power inside. Now, this is super nice. Well, read this. Flak and Flak's pet gain increased damage when Flak activates an action skill. If Flak is at full health, the increased damage is doubled. So when you're at full health and you throw your rack, you're going to be gaining not only 100% weapon damage from just your anointment, but another 50% from just using your action skill. So these stack multiplicatively as well. So you see how this is going to get really, really strong. You also have 2 stacks of this by default, but with our build we're going to have 3 stacks of this. They're on like 5-second cooldowns, so you continuously have this weapon damage buff. Now, one thing I will say is it's kind of annoying how you do the animation instead of just keeping it with your gun. It'd be nice if it was like a grenade where you could throw it and shoot your weapon. I think that would make Rakk Attack feel really, really seamless and make it more fun to use for players. But this is still such an insane weapon damage build that might as well just use it. The racks themselves don't really do too much damage, however. But we're going to go into the orange tree next. And I forgot to mention, you can use any pet for this build. I'll show all the ones that I recommend once we spend our points. But usually for mobbing, I like to go with the Gunslinger Jabber, and he gives us movement speed and critical hit damage. So without points, and I believe it's Barbaric Yop down here, yeah, the pet bonuses themselves aren't very strong. So the 3 options that I would recommend you guys is movement speed and critical hit damage from the Gunslinging Jabber when you're just mobbing. I really like the movement speed. The crit damage is nice when you have things frozen, and we're going to be running a frozen build against mobs. If you're having trouble staying alive, or you're carrying your friends in Mayhem 4, use the Spider and Scorcher. It's going to give you some health regeneration and elemental damage. And if you're going to kill a boss, the Guard Skag is also really good. Depends. If you have a Fire Lyuda against Grave Ward, the Spider Ant can be amazing for that elemental damage at 10%. But if you don't have the perfect element for it, just this flat damage from the Guard Skag is good. Keep in mind that the farther you go down, the pets, the more health they have. So the Guard Skag will die a lot. The Spider and Scorcher will die quite a bit. And the Gunslinger Jabber will stay alive quite a bit. So I like to use Gunslinger Jabber. Plus, he just looks fucking rad. Look at him, dude. It's like Mr. T from the World of Warcraft commercial.
I'm Mr. T, and this is my Night Elf Mohawk.
God, T, there's no such thing as a Night Elf Mohawk.
Shut up, fool!
Leave a comment down below if you know what I'm talking about. We're going to go over to the Hunter tree. We're not going to put any points into the Master tree. I would love whenever they increase the skill, whenever they increase the level cap to get all the way down here to Barbaric Yop. That would make this build so much stronger, but it's not worth going down there, just investing in it now. So I like to put 5 points in Interplanetary Stalker. Now the way this works is this is a Hunter kill skill, like I mentioned earlier. So listen carefully. Whenever Flak kills an enemy, they gain a stack of Interplanetary Stalker. For each stack of Interplanetary Stalker, they gain a bonus to all damage dealt. Additionally, they gain a unique stacking bonus depending on the type of enemy killed. Each unique bonus can stack up to 3 times. Each stack decays after a short time. So you'll see that no matter what you kill, you're going to get 10% damage a stack. You can only get 3 of these, keep in mind. Against robots, each stack's going to give you 7.5% corrosive damage a stack. Doesn't matter. We're not going to use any corrosive weapons in this build. It'd be nice if it was armor damage because we do use cryo, and cryo does a lot of damage to armor. But there's not very many robots in the game anyways. Against humans, you're going to get 15% action skill damage. Once again, the Rakk Attack, it just doesn't do very much damage, so not very important. And then for beast bonus, you can get 7% movement speed a stack. It's not super important, but this is nice in my opinion. But the main thing we want is the 10% damage a stack from Interplanetary Stalker. Now, I was messing around with Leave No Trace. If you decide not to use Illusion's Call, this can be good with a cryo build because it's going to add it's a 36% chance when you score a crit to add ammo back into your mag. So that can be nice if you're going to use other weapons, but Illusion's Call is just so powerful. Next, we're going to put 5 points in Hunter's Eye. Now the way Hunter's Eye works is FLAK gains bonuses when fighting different types of enemies. Against humans, it's 20% increased critical hit damage. A lot of enemies in the game are humans. Now, if you don't know what cryo does, when you freeze someone, I think they take 100, no, it's like 200% increased critical hit damage, and then another 110% critical hit damage from cryo weapons. And you see we're stacking critical hit damage over here, and from the skill over here where we hold still, we get increased gun damage and fire rate while we're just shooting people that are frozen. You see how that starts stacking like crazy. There's head count. This looks good on paper, however, Rakk Attack is on such a low cooldown already, and we already have points invested in Eager to Impress. There's really no need to get this. We are scoring a lot of crits, but we already have our action skill cooldown anointment up 24/7, and we have our power inside talent up 24/7. So there's no point to get the Rakk Attacks up more often. If you spam them, they don't stack the anointments. I already tried that. That'd be awesome if they could have stacked the anointments or stack the power inside, but they don't. So you really just want to throw them out around like every 10 seconds whenever you see your damage drop, because they don't do a ton otherwise. Now we're going to put 5 points in Two Fang, and what Two Fang does is FLAK has a chance to fire an extra projectile per shot, and it's just a flat 25% chance. It's really nice. It's basically, look at this, is like 25% extra damage. You're shooting an extra bullet every 4 bullets, so it's really nice. Then I like to put 3 points in the most dangerous game. Now this is another one of those hunter kill skills I told you guys about that we will be procking with this class mod, the Bounty Hunter class mod. Whenever you shoot people, you have a chance to proc these skills, which is really nice. You don't have to get kills for these all the time. So you'll basically be keeping these skills up 24/7 and just getting those huge gun damage bonuses. But anyways, it's a hunter kill skill. Whenever FLAK kills a badass or stronger enemy, they gain increased critical hit damage, gun damage, and handling for a long time. Now if you're playing Mayhem 3, Mayhem 4, you run into badasses, especially on True Vault Hunter mode, all the time. So you're going to have this buff all the time. Additionally, they receive a cash reward. It's pretty fucking stupid. This is kind of corny, but I mean, if you're into like lore and stuff, you get a cash reward from the Intergalactic Bureau of Bounty Hunting. Alright, you brony. Just joking. But with 6 points in it, keep in mind that I have 3 points for my class mod. You should look ideally for Bounty Hunter class mods that have 3 points in this. It's a god stat. With 6 points, it's going to be giving me 50% gun damage, 20% critical hit damage, 50% handling, and it lasts for 120 seconds. But wait, there's more. If you call right now, we're going to put 3 points into big game. And the reason for that is it's going to increase our hunter kill skill duration by 100%. So you saw this, 120 seconds. It's now 4 minutes, 240 seconds. Also, our interplanetary stalker is going to be lasting longer. It's great. Also, Furious Attack is going to be lasting longer. I love it. You can't go wrong with this. Finally, the last point I like to spend is Galactic Shadow. Now, FLAK deals increased critical hit damage, stacking with that cryo build we're going to be running on mobs, and it's also amazing against bosses like Grave Ward and like the Destroyer. So it's just 15% increased critical hit damage, and enemies are less likely to attack you. So enemies will quit attacking you sometimes and go attack your pet, which is going to proc that hidden machine, giving you 30% increased damage. Alright, now for the augments. So you'll see here, Rack Open a Cold One. It's such a fucking stupid name, but whatever. It'll convert your racks to crowd damage. So I thought this would be good on paper because we're using so many like freezing weapons and freezing grenades already. It'll just help us freeze things, but they don't do enough crowd damage to freeze anything, so it's basically worthless. What is really good, however, is Falconeer's Feast. When FLAK's racks damage an enemy, a portion of the FLAK's health is restored. So that's going to give you more survivability. That's really the only thing this build is lacking, but it does have quite a bit of survivability, which is that flat damage reduction and the health regeneration, but it'll help you stay at full health so you can get those power inside bonuses. Additionally, that's per flak hit, or excuse me, that's per rack that it hits an enemy. You can use flak and load as your secondary if you need more survivability to have 2 additional rack whenever you throw it out. So look right there, we have, I think that was 4 or 5. That's a potential of like 35 to 28% max health given to us just off our action skill. And we're throwing it about every 10 seconds, even up down to like 4 seconds if we need that health. So that'll give us a lot of survivability. However, what I like to run personally is a rack accelerate. It's going to give you an additional charge of these racks. And on top of that, you'll be getting them off cooldown more often. I haven't tested it out yet. I have a feeling flock and load might be better, but I just hate it if if I'm bad and I like double tap and like don't have a rack stack ready. Feel free to use whichever 2 of these you think are better. That's just my opinion on the matter. Let's talk about guardian ranks for a second. Now, we haven't gotten into the items yet, but with this build, I like to use a brawler ward or a band of Sidorak. They're just DPS shields that when they're depleted, they give you weapon damage and give you fire rate. They're really, really strong. However, if you haven't gone down the survivor tree yet and you don't plan on using like my Zane build, I would recommend you don't put points in shield reboot, as it it really lowers your damage a lot. I wish I could take points out of or turn this guardian rank off while I was playing some of my builds like my Amara and like my Flak, because my shield will break and I'm killing so many enemies that it's constantly just regenning it. So I'm losing out on all the footage you're seeing. I'm losing out on about 22% weapon damage and 10% fire rate 24/7. So it really, really sucks. If you don't have points invested that far and you want to run this build, I wouldn't put enough guardian. I wouldn't put 50 tokens into it to unlock this shield reboot. Alright, so let's talk items, guys. Before we get into this, the first thing I want to tell you guys is about the anointment that we're looking for on all our weapons. We're looking for the anointment on action skill end. Weapon damage is increased by 100% for a short time. We already touched base on this, but briefly we'll go over it again. Our racks are on a super, super low cooldown, so we're continuously getting that, and it's stacking with our capstone, which is the power inside. One thing you guys need to know is, let's say I want to have damage buff with this Lucian's Call, but I have the Dictator out. So let's say I throw my racks out to get that anointment and swap to the Lucian's Call. You're not going to have that anointment on the Lucian's Call. Even though both my weapons have that anointment, you have to have the weapon pulled out that you want that damage increase on. So keep that in mind. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. The other thing I'm going to touch on is I've been playing it offline basically since the Halloween event came out, because I don't like the terror mechanic. I think it's gimmicky, and the ghosts are stupid, and I think Captain Haunt is dumb. I already hated Captain Trant. So I play an offline mode. If you want to play an online mode with your friends, what you can do is just look for the terror anointment on your shield and grenade. You can either get the one where terror gives you ammo, or the one where you use action skill, you get stacks of terror, and this will mitigate the effects of bloom and stuff from having terror, and your guns will actually be more accurate than my guns. So keep that in mind. I just don't like the Halloween event. You guys can let me know what you guys think about in the comments down below. But let's talk about the weapons I chose for this. So for our mobbing setup, your main gun is going to be the Cryo Lucian's Call. Once again, with the on action skill end, weapon damage is increased by 100% for a short time. This gun is just amazing. We're going for crits with this gun. This gives us a lot of AoE potential, killing other mobs. It shoots super fast, which is going to stack up our Furious Attack and help us proc all those kill skills with our Bounty Hunter class mod, because each shot is going to give us a 3% chance of proccing those. So we want a high fire rate weapon. That's why we're using this. This is your bread and butter. You need this to be successful with this build. The second gun I'm running is a Negating the Dictator. Now, it doesn't really matter what the prefix is. You just need a Dictator and a Cryo Dictator, preferably, but really any elemental work. And this is just for any big bad guys that get in your way. What I like to do, so if you guys don't know how the Dictator works, I'll show you quickly, is when it's in rifle mode, it shoots pellets like this. And then when it's in bipod mode, it spreads them out even further and you get more pellets. But when you're in bipod mode, you can't sprint. So I like to put mine in bipod mode and keep it on my number 2 slot. And let's say I freeze a guy right here, and then it's a big tanky guy, so I'll pull up on him. I'm still in bipod mode, and I'll just get in his face and just melt him immediately. And with the change to Cryo being able to damage anointed enemies, Cryo weapons are super, super strong. That's why I have a Fire Lyuda in my backpack, just to kill those anointed enemies, because once again, I'm playing in offline mode right now because fuck the Halloween event. But those will be your two bread and butter weapons. Let's talk shields. We talked about this earlier. The Rakk or the Brawler's Ward are my two favorite shields for this build. They're both DPS shields. They revolve around not having, whenever you don't have your shield, you get damage increase or fire rate increase. If you don't want to use these, you can go for the Big Boom Blaster. That's another good one. It'll let you spam grenades more. For our grenades, we're going to be using the Merv Tactical Hex. I really like the Cryo Hex. It just helps us freeze enemies. It's a great grenade. It's hard to go wrong with. Not much else to say there. Other than that, we've talked about this class mod again and again, but I can't stress enough how important it is for you guys to look for a Bounty Hunter class mod. It really makes or breaks this build. And if you don't remember, every time we shoot someone, we have a 3% chance to activate any of our hunt skills. And also, it treats bosses as if they're humans, beasts, and robotics. So they're getting all those stacking effects from your hunter kill skills on bosses. The last piece of the mobbing gear set is the Icebreaker Auto Idle. So the prefix is Icebreaker, which is going to give us versus frozen targets 35% bonus damage, 50% cryo efficiency, and the suffix is Auto Idle, which is going to give us 18% of our max health after killing an enemy. The auto idle part is really important to give us survivability that FLAK lacks, and the Icebreaker part is important to give us extra DPS on this whole cryo build. Mine rolled assault rifle damage, cryo efficiency, and cryo damage. It's basically a god roll. But yeah, just look for an Icebreaker auto idle. It doesn't even need to be a legendary. I take that back. I believe the auto idle can only spawn as a legendary. But this will be your mobbing setup. For killing bosses, the setup is very similar, but we're going to be using that Fire Lyuda or whatever elements the boss you're fighting is weak to. Go ahead and use that element. But for most of the bosses in the game right now, fire is the way to go. We have a sellout just to ignite ourselves. And the reason we're igniting ourselves is we're going to be using an elemental projector. Now the way the elemental projector works is this tooltip is wrong. It's 183%, but actually in game you get 90%. It was an error with the tooltip that's still in my game because it's offline. I'm not actually getting the damage from this. I'm also getting 90% in offline mode, but yeah, they patched this like 2 patches ago. But once you ignite yourself, you're going to be getting 90% damage boost with fire weapons because you ignited yourself. Other than that, I have a level 4 Brawler Ward. That was the lowest one I could get, and this is a Roid Shield like I was telling you guys about. This is going to give us 25% weapon damage while the shield is depleted. I like this because I can just shoot myself once and deplete my entire shield. And with my level 50 Rakk, I'd have to shoot myself like 40 times. So it's super easy if I just want to farm Grave Ward, shoot myself once, hop down, mag dump him, he's dead, quit save, you know, rinse and repeat, farm those Guardian levels. And once again, we're going to need that Bounty Hunter class mod. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing about that. But yeah, that covers it for the items, guys. And yeah, guys, I think that just about covers this guide. Let me know what you guys think about this guide in the comments down below. If you like my no bullshit at the beginning, if you like me breaking it down towards the end, and if you guys want this build, once again, this build is $10. Just hit the join button right next to the subscribe button on my channel, or you can just DM me on one of my socials if you want to PayPal me. Please don't hate me too much, guys. I'm just trying to raise money for my girlfriend. She has brain cancer, and yeah, it's just that shit's expensive. So if you want to support me, there's links in the description down below. Consider joining my channel. Just the base join is only 99 cents. Costs less than a McDonald's cheeseburger a month, guys. So yeah, guys, peace out. Love you all. I'll see you guys on a live stream, and stick till the end of the outro if you want to be linked to some of my playlists. They'll also be in the description down below. Peace out. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Later, guys.
Some days you hunt, some days you are hunted. Time to kill. Too many to count. Sky's fury. Explosives this time. More. Invincible! My little friend is down! Did I save your life? Yes. Did I inspect you for weak points? We may never know. Go for the eyes! The hunt sings! Pocket racks!
That was badass!
Pride goeth before shitting the bed.
Don't forget to equip your favorite torque weaponry just to make me fucking happy! Let's do this thing!
I hear you, beast! I send you all to death!
You for free! I'm still upset that I can't say fuck!
Now, let's go hunt. There. How are your last breaths going? Invincible! Distract them!
You're a monster, but in a fucking good way! Wow, 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 wow!
Thrill of the hunt! I felt your end. I felt it. Let them hear your rage.
Raid complete! Fuck yeah!
Swarm! is my purpose.
Time! Get up!
Don't hold back! Too many to count! Satisfied. Fly! Death! Do you see me?
Wow! Boss fight music!
Let the life bleed from you.